Well, hi there. Welcome to Personal Bankruptcy Canada, a place where we talk about financial issues that are affecting Canadians. I'm Wayne Kelly, and today I've got David Smith on, and we're going to be talking about less is more. Now, David is a trustee in bankruptcy and founder of Personal Bankruptcy Canada. Hi, David.
Hello there.
I love the concept here of less is more. It's something that so many Canadians really have no concept of. What is it exactly that you're talking about?
Well, I would suggest you the cool thing about less is more is it's whatever it means whatever it does to the individual who's thinking about it. But the concept is how can we get our minds wrapped around the issue that having less of something is more. And so less of something gives a positive over on another side. So it's a win, not a loss. You know, I have a less of this and I feel depressed. No. I have less of stress and I'm happier, right? I have more happiness. I have less hours at work. I have more time for the things that are more meaningful to me.
Yeah, so you're talking specifically about, in a way, money, that instead of saying that we've got to have more and more stuff, like how we're programmed to be, that you're saying that it's okay for us not to have as much stuff, not to be, gathering all these things that cost us money, but by having less stuff, we can actually live better lives.
Absolutely. It's something to think about for each individual to come to a better understanding of their relationship with stuff, how much it costs to, in time and effort, work to earn enough money to acquire those things, and that now we have more hours at work, we have less time for play because we're trying to earn so much money to be able to pay for these things. And I heard somebody mention to me a few years ago living an asset-light life. So it's like a light beer, less alcohol, right? You can have more beers, less alcohol, right? Well, asset-light is the same concept where less possessions, less things dragging us around, dragging us down, that we have to drag around with us, means we can do more things. And,
Okay,
it works well.
so can you truly live a fulfilling life like this?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the idea is not to spend any money. The idea is not to acquire, have any possessions. But the idea is to be living a more engaged, thoughtful life. So when we decide to buy something, it's with more understanding, more certainty. We've made a conscious decision. I want to buy this new car, or I want to buy this new bicycle, or whatever it might be in your world. But you're saying, my life's going to be better by acquiring this, not my friend bought a new bicycle, so now I want to buy a new bicycle too, and I buy this new bicycle, and it went on my Visa, and now my bike sits in the garage, and I'm paying interest on that Visa every month. So having more stuff means less money for doing things next month because I got more interest to pay. That's the opposite, right?
Yeah, exactly. So was it my wife that brought up the bicycle? Because I did say I wanted a new one.
Well, and I use the bicycle example not because of your wife, Wayne, but rather one of the things that I've done in this past year is I work in Calgary, and I'm downtown Calgary. I gave up my parking spot, and I now commute into work on my bicycle or on the public transit. And so for me, that's a concept of this less is more. So I save the parking spot cost, so it's great. And every day I get exercise, fresh air, a little wind down time where I'm spending a little bit more time commuting, but not very much more in a day, maybe another 20 minutes a day instead of driving for me where I live. And so less time in the car means more exercise and more enjoyment, and I get home feeling better and more charged when I arrive home at with my family. I'm not listening to the news. So less news, less stress, I'm more relaxed when I get home.
Okay, how did you come up with this concept? Was it something in your life that happened that brought this on?
Well, I think it's a combination of all kinds of things, but I'm now in my 50s, and so I've had lots of life experiences. And I could point to for me personally, this has been a gradual transition towards this understanding that actually less is more for me and my family. What I've had that very specific is I had a bout of cancer coming on 2 years ago, and now I'm cancer free at this point, which is fabulous. But it's one of those events where you actually think, what is important in life? And I've recognized that I don't want to just acquire more possessions that I have to ensure and maintain and take care of and become a slave to possessions. I'd rather have more time for friends and family and even for myself, more time for myself. And so it's many things, but that's one of those big life events that kind of crystallizes it for people. Yeah.
Now, how do you do the less is more if everybody around you, your family and your friends, are all full of the more philosophy? Do you kind of become an outcast at that point? Any advice there?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. What you say is true. You can become this little bit of an outcast, that you're not the same as everyone else. And one of the things I will say, and it can be a bit scary, is the trouble with being normal is we're on this gerbil wheel of running in a hamster cage, right? Where you're running to keep up with people, but you're not going anywhere. And when you start to think about your own priorities, what you really want to do with your own life and your hard-earned money, and you come to a different decision than somebody else, that's okay. And certainly, I try very much not to criticize neighbors and colleagues that I work with and such that have a different view. Everybody's doing what they think is right for them, but I encourage everyone I'm around to think twice about what holiday do you want to take and why, what car do you want to have and why, what house do you want to have and why. And so it's just consciousness and understanding that if you have a smaller house, you might have more money for more holidays. So what is important? Nobody can do it all. So
what I love about this is so many people who are in that rat race, spending the money and working harder and working long hours, they're desperate to have what you have, in that a little more simplicity in their life. And usually when you jump off that wheel and you tell your friends, they will kind of maybe harass you, maybe you'll become a bit of that outcast, but very soon I think others will start to join you in your journey, won't they?
Oh, yes. In fact, that's what we found in my family's own personal circumstances, is that at first people, see me getting on my bicycle and riding off to work, and they're saying, what's going on? And now it's like I've got this big smile on my face as I head off to work or come home at the end of the day, and I'm waving to neighbors when I come through, and they appreciate what it's about. And I've met more neighbors when I've been taking transit, and when on the cold days when I refuse to ride my bike here in Calgary when it's all snowy and cold. But talking to people on this public transit, get to know more people. It's fun, So have fun and realize we're thinking about doing things a little differently than we've been doing over the last decades in our lives can actually get us to a good place, and it makes our finances much easier to manage. And so we're not stressed or losing sleep over how do I pay this bill, or how do I get this paid off, or how am I going to afford to send my kid to college, or whatever it may be. Everything can get better when we're a little more careful about what we want to spend our money on, and we're looking at making things a little bit simpler to have more time to do the things that are important for us in our own lives. It's very fun.
I love it. Yeah. Less is more is a great philosophy. David Smith, thank you very much for being on the show today. And if people want more information, they can go to personalbankruptcycanada.ca. Thanks very much, David.